What is up, everybody? This is Wild Nutrition Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Heskett, and this is episode 117. We are back. So this is going to be a pretty short episode. There's a lot going on, so I just want to get the podcast back up and running, get back in the habit of creating the content with the podcast. But some updates of stuff that has been happening. So I have been very busy with things. Working kind of like in two different companies. So if you've been following along, if this is your first episode, welcome. But if you have been a regular listener, then you know that I was working with the LWA team, Lifts with Alex Allen. We have decided to go our separate ways. So I will no longer be with the LWA team. I have moved over to work with my friend Erin McDonald on her team, 8 Wellness Collective. So if you are interested in coaching or where to find me, it is going to be with 8 Wellness Collective. So that's going to be a big change they were going to be on when we're probably going to be launching a podcast in March with the entire staff of 8 Wellness Collective. So that's a pretty awesome thing. This podcast might go through some changes. So some other updates. My buddy and I, we are launching the Not Perfect Kitchen. So that is going to be, right now it's on Instagram. We have a TikTok page. There is literally one post up. But I'm planning on either this week or next week actually getting things kicked off where we are going to be filming how to like make actually good recipes and things. So if you've been paying attention to my Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, the content that I've been putting on, it's a lot of cooking stuff, about like 2 or 3 recipes. I won't even say recipes. Personally, I hate writing recipes. It's so tedious. If you've never written a recipe, and it is super tedious because you can't write it for yourself. You have to write a recipe like someone has no idea what they're doing. So it's like, you can't just like write like, oh, like I always do this. So this, people will be like, wait, what? Like you'll get comments and things. So you have to write things in a way that somebody with very little or no cooking skills can follow along and do it. So that's what I'm like, oh my God, it's super tedious to do all the time. So, but that's obviously I'm gonna have to get over that. So I haven't been putting the recipes out, just putting content. So we're probably going to get some sort of blog or website or something going with recipes, and obviously throw out ebooks and stuff, which you'll probably hear here. And we might also do a podcast over there with that. I don't know. That is a fun side project for my buddy Nick Averona and I to do, and we're just gonna see what happens. There's literally like, what the worst thing that happens is like we put out good content and it flops and we put almost no money into it, or it does well and then we just kind of like, well, let's put more effort into this and take effort away from other areas. So let's see. Anyways, lots of things going on. Just wanted to come on here and give you guys, the regular listeners that I appreciate so much, an update of those things. So there's a lot of things in the works, a lot of things coming down the road. One big thing right now that I'm running, and I'll be getting ready for later tonight, is we have launched the Prime Project. So it's a new program with 8 Wellness Collective where it's a group coaching program. So if you're interested, it is a lower cost than one-on-one coaching. If you've been a previous client or you were you've inquired about one-on-one coaching and you couldn't afford it, this is a lower price option for people. There is less one-on-one coaching. It's also for the person who is looking for just a little bit of accountability. You're like, I really don't need all that much. Like I just need someone to kind of be there for me, but I'm pretty good on my own. So it's for that kind of person. So we have launched that. So to qualify, you have to qualify to be in it. So you have to already be consistently working out at least twice a week with some experience with weights. Like you know how to do a squat and you can do a plank and things like the basics. It's not like you have to be able to do Olympic lifting. It's going to be the basics. So you have to be able to do those things, and you have to have experience with tracking macros. It's more of a macro tracking program rather than all the other things out there that can get a little bit more complicated, and it takes more one-on-one coaching to actually teach it. Not to say we couldn't kind of do it within the group coaching program, like intuitive eating and stuff, but it's tricky. So you have to be comfortable tracking your macros accurately. You have to be already working out consistently to qualify to jump in the program. And if you're like, oh, well, I really want to get into that, but I need, we also create a hybrid program where it's a little bit of one-on-one coaching and then a commitment to the group coaching program to give you a lower rate. The other thing, so the only way that works is like a 6 month to a year commitment versus the group coaching itself. If you're that kind of person, you're like, I qualify, which I can put that in the show notes down below. There's a program selected to see if you qualify. It's just like a under 5-minute quiz. So if you do that and you qualify, you get in. It's a month-to-month program. There's no like long-term commitment to it, which is nice because the person who it's designed for doesn't necessarily need it. Like we don't need to lock that person in. Like if that's you, like you might need it for 3 months, you might need it for a year. You might like it's for something to be there when you need it to give you extra accountability and guidance and support. But not for you, say, necessarily forever and ever and ever, unless you just want workouts, which some people just need someone to write their workouts. So, with that being said, that's the updates, guys. So, I forget what I kind of went over in the last podcast. What was the title of that? Podcast and life updates. Yeah. I forget all the things that went into that. I'm getting back finally to a regular routine. I actually switched up. I'm working out midday now, which is nice. I like it. I still feel like guilty. I feel like I should be working at that time, but it's worked out much better, especially since my wife is now starting to work out. And obviously with her PCOS and hypothyroidism, it's been a challenge. So now she's actually doing the Prime program to give me feedback on it. So she is doing that, and she is, we've been kind of watching the diet. Her and I are both kind of doing a sort of a diet. She is finishing up breastfeeding, so she has like another like month of it. So we're starting the process for her to get back to kind of her old self, get back in shape, especially since she's going to get so much time back once pumping's done. So that's kind of what's been going on in the personal life. I can hear them upstairs. I don't really have much else for you guys. There's no like lessons today. It was just updates. I will put the notes down below. Friday will be, do I want to promise Friday? Friday's a maybe. We're going to get back to at least once a week. Friday's a maybe. We might be back to the Coffee Talk Friday. But here we are. We at least got this episode out for you guys with a lot of the updates going on. Why I haven't been able, I just haven't had the capacity and the brain space to do the podcast. When I did have time, I just like, oh my God, I don't have the space or the desire to do it. So I'd rather just not. So here we are. Enjoy the rest of your day. Maybe Friday there'll be a new episode coming out. If not, it'll be next week as we get back to the regular schedule of at least weekly, if not twice a week.